Well,
No,
there are a lot of theories flying around right now. At the Oscars, John Cena made an appearance looking to be totally nude, with one little announcement card in front of his crotch. And he was doing this to present Best Costume Design, ironically. And he was sitting there next to Jimmy Kimmel on stage, just appearing to be totally naked. And a lot of people are saying that this was a Hollywood humiliation ritual being performed on John Cena. And I remember the same things were being said about him when he was cross-dressing on set of Ricky Stenicki, his new movie on Amazon Prime. Because, if he's a masculine looking dude, you have to buck break him in the public eye to keep him in line with the elites. Are the elites planning this and they're conspiring together to humiliate him?
Margot Robbie liked it.
Seems like it, yeah.
He doesn't seem I don't know.
I mean, this is obviously choreographed.
Yeah.
Costumes.
I just feel that this is... I guess I'll let it finish.
Maybe the most important thing there is.
Okay.
This just feels like... So they're in a writer's room and they're like, okay, so ratings are going to be down. We need 3 viral moments. What can we do?
Yeah.
Put John Cena naked. Are you down? You're down? Cool. And it's like these moments in movies that they kind of pull you from immersion because they're so wacky and kind of like Gen Z, like in like an ambiance that doesn't fit, and it just feels obvious for me. Maybe I'm too marketing brain and I always see it, but it's like, okay, so this is the moment we want them to clip. So
and it was on every website,
right?
And we're doing it. We're literally part of the problem.
I don't see this as the humiliation ritual. I think it's in line with the movie he's making right now. Somebody else in the chat pointed out he's always looking for an excuse to get naked. Certainly,
is he known for that?
And the other thing that's funny about this is like if you look at what he's been doing, so he's promoting his new movie with like an OnlyFans, which has deliberately sexualized sounding. Like he goes, "My first cream pie," and then he gets hit in the face with a pie. Okay. So it's a shtick, right? It's advertising a movie, and I'm with you on this one. I just see this as one of these things where it is an industry that loves degeneracy and stuff like this, and I don't see it as a bunch of shadowy elites, a cabal of people.
Well, no, entertain the idea just for a second, okay? So Liz Crocken said, no surprise John Cena's walking on stage naked at the Oscars during primetime TV that children are most likely watching.
No children are watching the Oscars!
No one.
Zero! Zilch! Nada!
She continued,
None.
This is not just a humiliation ritual. The Hollywood PDF files, rapists, and perverts are certainly getting off on this. I'm sure Jimmy Kimmel is as well.
Hold on.
Let's not forget that...
There's a $20 one here from CJ McLean. Says could be China who paid Hollywood to humiliate him. They're probably still pissed that he mentioned Taiwan. Also look up the John Cena Xena meme if you've never seen it before. Yeah, if you ever heard his apologizing in Mandarin to the people of China for daring to say that Taiwan existed.
Let's not forget that Jimmy Kimmel had Tom Hanks do a skit on his show sexualizing little girls, where he called a child a sexy baby and had her sing Talk Dirty to Me. Also, Jimmy Kimmel ran another skit on his show featuring an FBI identified PDF file symbol in it and a pizza. Pizza is PDF file code that's been confirmed by the FBI, DOJ records, and local law enforcement agencies. These people are sick.
Okay, all of that might be true.
Right.
That doesn't make this true. Okay?
Right.
Two things connected elsewhere does not mean that every single thing that happens in one industry is connected.
I mean, that's what every conspiracy hinges upon. It is all of those pieces of red yarn.
My thing is, I think as a culture, we're so desensitized to nudity and sexuality that this is just garden variety like shtick.
Oh,
another one said
he wasn't fully naked. There are the photos
he was
of him.
wearing
He wears
something.
the modesty
Garment.
The modesty garment.
Yes. Another one said Jimmy Kimmel and the Illuminati put John Cena through an obvious satanic shaming ritual during the Oscars tonight. A blatantly sexual provocation for American men to remind you who the real wolves of society are. All the signs are right there. They don't even try to hide it. So they pointed out there is confusion and embarrassment on John Cena's face. Jimmy Kimmel is in a dominant stance. His toes are protected by status because he's wearing shoes. There are satanic references in the shadowy figures on set.
Here's a photo with all of this information there. Yes.
Yeah.
No!
And they're showing John Cena's toes. Thank you.
I don't know what the satanic reference is.
I don't know if it's satire or what, but...
What is the satanic reference?
And then Razor Fist also said, I've never seen anyone more desperate for mainstream success than John Cena. If a Hollywood executive told him to swallow a chainsaw, it'd be halfway down his digestive tract before he finished the sentence.
But he's insanely famous.
We also talk about Hollywood being full of degenerates. If he's a degenerate, why would this be humiliating for him?
Mm-hmm.
But isn't his brand like relatively wholesome?
He doesn't. I don't think he's not full time with WWE anymore, and that's a good point. Like,
but it's still his brand.
No, So the idea that he does all the Make-A-Wish Foundation stuff, and he's very, very popular with kids at WWE, but he's been out of WWE full time for several years now, and really is going mainstream with Hollywood. So, make of it what you will. I'm always reticent to make a bunch of connections on literally everything all the time. I tend to think that a degenerate writer, wrote a degenerate piece for this show, and they got the guy who's making a movie that has degeneracy in it, and they put it in.
How do you know the movie has
it's an R-rated comedy. So at least from the reviews I was talking about, like that scene of him in the skirt and the thigh-high socks is from that.
Well, there's that scene of him dressed up like Britney Spears.
Yes.
From the Baby One More Time music video.
Maybe I'm wrong. I could be 110% wrong. I just don't think it's the type of thing where like if you start seeing these things everywhere, it gets to be a bit much. Now, if somebody finds a memo from one member of the Illuminati to another member of the Illuminati that confirms this, I am happy to say that I am wrong.
Okay, Destiny, you need your study.
I'm obviously being sarcastic, yes.
There is a Hollywood cult, but we don't know if this was their doing.
Yes, it could have been. It could have been from a wholly different cult. It could have been somebody other than the Illuminati.
Are there?
I just feel that
rival cults in Hollywood.
It's so tame. If it was, as they say, like a satanic thing. You don't get what I'm saying?
You think it would actually be Sam Smith dressed up like the devil?
Yeah, it would be something a lot more provocative, or like shaming a white guy. Like, come on.
You're more likely to see the demonic references at the Grammys than something like the Oscars.
What do you think? Do you think this was a ritualistic shaming?
Maybe not consciously planned that way, but Hollywood's disposition toward masculinity is to shame and vilify it. So that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing a display of how they feel about masculinity.
It is another jab at modernity, not at modernity, but like a jab at what I don't know if
like
masculine.
Jake Gyllenhaal's got Roadhouse coming out, where he's playing an MMA, where he's fighting an MMA fighter. Are they gonna do this to Jake Gyllenhaal and then to Conor McGregor next?
I feel like the general sentiment is that
I feel like if it was actually true, then it would have been Alan Ritchson. They would have tried to trot out there to get him to both decry his faith, right?
Well, he's not famous enough. So
I mean, he was just in the last Fast. I think he's on his way up. He's
he's on his way.
I mean,
famous.
I think the joke is juxtaposed to the enormity in his size. So
yes,
so it being like, oh, he is in a moment of weakness, despite the fact that he's like this ginormous, roided out, jacked guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just like a very simple juxtaposition, like a really simple gag, and.
Okay, definitely not a fad says, how is making all the women in the crowd hot and bothered killing masculinity though? Yes, Margot Robbie looked more than a little bit enamored with what she saw.
I mean, I think it's.
I guess this thing like she's laughing at him, not with him.
Traditionally, sex sells is thought of as a one-way street. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, it's like a comment on modernity. Like, oh, like the ladies are in charge now. Here's your little like piece of beefcake. I don't know. Is this making sense? Like,
I mean, he wasn't up there doing like a Chippendales striptease or
He may as
anything
well.
like that.
Well, I mean, what's it called? That movie was, what's it called? The
Magic Mike?
Magic Mike was a
Yes.
thing 10
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
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 Don't want to see that.
It is fair to point out that they didn't do this with a woman. They would have never done
Well, no,
this with a.
that's what I mean. Is like, you know, a man's body is seen as something to laugh at, whereas a woman's body is something to be revered. And
House and Habit
That's
had
definitely-
House and Habit had some thoughts on the Oscars. Basically, she said she's too busy to cover them right now with all the other work she's doing. But she had some thoughts, and she said like, now all the hot women just go to the Oscars naked. And she goes, we want to imagine you naked, not actually see you naked.
what, really? Because I looked at a lot of the red carpet fashion, and I didn't think all of it was really that risque.
Yeah, every time I see people analyze the fashion, it's like this person wore this dress that this other person had worn years ago. Like, what's the allegory that they're trying to communicate?
Somebody says naked chicks aren't funny. They could do this with a fat naked chick. That would be considered funny. It says they wouldn't do that.
I don't know.
No, everyone would get really
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
It would be both.
Yeah.
Wow, she's incredible, beautiful, and what are you laughing at? Like simultaneously.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.